Hi, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Coffee and Conversation. Today, I am joined by Sam Glass. He is owner at CSG Yacht Carpentry right here in Mallorca. And you have joined me this morning, Sam, in regards to this tax that the Port Authority has placed, well, or is planning on placing right here in Mallorca. How are you, Sam?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I'm good.
So tell me a little bit about this tax. I did have somebody on last week, Oscar Sitches, in regards to this tax. And of course, at that stage, it was going to be implemented January 1st, which is in 2 days. But as a result of a group of people coming together, raising funds, hiring a lawyer, they managed to push that back until July 1st.
Yeah.
But there was quite a cost incurred in that, was there not?
Yeah, as far as I know, €39,000 so far. It's cost. We know this because I'd received an email through from a supplier, Riviera Trade, and it was forwarded on from Alex Casares, a Grupo Barco, who's done a lot of the organising so far. And he was basically just reaching out to people to try and raise the funds towards the legal costs of fighting the APB Tasa so far. And so I just thought it'd be a good idea to get more people involved. What I basically said to them, there's more people out there than what's just on your client list. We need to get as many people as possible to contribute to this that are going to benefit from it. In a couple of days, we'll all still be able to go in the yards and keep on working and things like that until July without much further issue. And so far, I just thought it'd be a good idea to raise the funds towards what's been done so far, and then also find out if it's speak with the lawyers and see how far they think we can go in terms of, overruling the implementation of the tax altogether come the summer. Yeah.
Well, I mean, what was the core group? How many people were in the core group that actually got together to hire this lawyer in the first place?
But as far as I know, 8. I've not spoke with Alex yet. I've not actually met Alex. I'm going to meet him next week when I get back to Mallorca. I'm in the UK just now. So yeah, we've just arranged to meet one another and then sort of discuss more about how we can go about raising the money, how we can help, and get it out to the community to work together.
I can imagine that this is a small, from the time that people found out about it and started talking about it, that €39,000 for the lawyer, that was over a relatively short period of time. So we've got 6 months of time that is going to have to be fought. So if that short period of time was a cost of €39,000, what do you think possibly the overall cost of this legal battle is going to be?
I have no idea. No idea. I just know that so far, we've all benefited in terms of not having to pay anything come January. I don't know how a lot of people have got on. It's been difficult for any of us to just, especially autonomos and small business, to pay 10,000 to, if depending how it works. We don't know how it works yet, but this is also I've sort of started the page that I have to try and bring people together and find out more, try and release information and raise awareness of what's happening. So we actually know what's happening, but to find out more, so we need to deal with the lawyers and speak with Alex and just let people know what's happening, because I don't think there's the awareness there, and there doesn't seem to be much, especially in the English-speaking community, about what is going on with the tax. A lot of the news articles and that they seem to be, they're all Spanish or Catalan. So I just thought it'd be good to bring the community together to see what's happening.
Well, and I think even for the Spanish and the Mallorquin community, the language within this tax that was approved isn't very clear. Oscar is a Spanish speaker, and even he was saying there's a lot of gray areas within this when it's translated. Well, even in the original language, there's a lot of gray areas that people are not understanding. Does it apply to those that are already paying the exorbitant fees that are within the Port Authority, or does it apply to those that only are outside of the Port Authority jurisdiction? There's so many questions that are left unanswered, and there could possibly be a method of letting people know exactly what this tax is all about.
Yeah, exactly. There's no information at all. I think it's fair to say none of us are any wiser as to what's happening with it. Even now, after, all we know is that it's not coming in January, but we don't know. We still don't know all the grey areas, what it means for who, who's going to be affected by it. Are we all going to be affected by it, or as Oscar was saying, is it just going to be those that are working on like changing the displacement of the boat or something like that? Yeah, there's a lot to be asked so far, and I think come January, if we can find out as much as we can and let people know, that'll help. It's a good idea to find out how far we can go with it. Is it something we can fight off altogether, or is it just something we can prepare for in the time that we have now? Yeah, that's the sort of main questions that need to be asked, I think, going forward.
Well, and I mean, the Port Authority does come back. They're on vacation. I mean, that was another sort of weird timing coincidence, is that this announcement came and the meeting was the day before they went on vacation. And thank goodness that there was that result made, that it was waylaid for 6 months. Thank goodness you walked in with a lawyer. However, they are on vacation until the 7th of January. Now, are you hoping that when they come back from vacation that there will be more clarification on this law?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, probably not right away, but in the first couple of weeks after, they really need to start to tell us more. And if not, we need to be, sort of forcing them to tell us. We still need the lawyers to tell us what's going to happen further. To clarify things.
What's really interesting about this tax, though, too, is that this was actually passed in the summer at some stage, wasn't it, without anybody's knowledge?
Yeah. They're saying it's been passed in the summer, and then sort of approved in November, I was reading as well. And then it's only recently that they've, on the island, the board of directors have approved it as late as November. And still there's been nothing, no, at least sort of on our side of the working sort of community, there's not been, any discussion on it up until we've pretty much found out on social media, a lot of people. Yeah.
So, I mean, the ultimate goal is to actually come together and see if you can get rid of this tax entirely, because how is it going to affect? I mean, guaranteed it's going to affect small businesses. How will it affect the industry as a whole in Mallorca?
As an whole, if it's just going to be a tax that's passed on to the owners, the consumer, on a larger scale, it'll surely affect the competitiveness of the industry on the island. Boats will be more likely to go elsewhere. It'll reduce, surely it'll reduce employment. I think the boats will be persuaded to go elsewhere if the costs rise, in such a level. I think it'll become less competitive overall as well, because you'll find it becomes more concentrated in the hands of the big businesses. The small businesses are less likely to be able to pass the costs on. I think they'll find it hard to stay in business, especially if they're expected to pay 10,000 per person per tonne or more. I think it could have quite a large impact, especially on the small business, more so. And then as an industry, it'll definitely make the island less competitive. It can't help, and I think the question is how is it going to be used, the money? How is the government going to use the money that it raises? Is it going to do it to make the industry more competitive, a touch more pricier, but for the user, but a better service and things like that? So they're going to invest it in infrastructure or sort of technology in the yards and things like this, training. There's all these sort of issues of how they're going to actually use the money. Is it a progressive or a sort of regressive tax? Is the main sort of thing I need to ask.
Well, for clarification's sake, this tax is actually legal across Spain, straight across Spain. And the Port Authority straight across Spain are allowed to charge up to 6% for this tax. Now, Mallorca chose to charge between 1.5 and 2.5, depending on different issues. So, I mean, it is the lower end of the scale. But on the other hand, there's not a single other port authority in all of Spain that decided to implement this tax, even though legally they're allowed to. Is there a reason why Majorca specifically decided to do that, do you think? Or is it just something random and they saw it as a way to sort of bring in more income?
Yeah, a cash grab, really just pretty much a cash grab, I think. And the question is, where are they going to stop with it? They're beginning at a low rate. It's not necessarily going to stay at that if they have up to 6%, so they get you in, keep you working, and then they keep pushing the taxes up as well, and again, it's just, especially on the percentage, it's just going to be something that's passed on to the consumer. It's not really going to affect us in the short term. We'll just pass it on. But the industry as a whole will surely be affected by it, especially as the boats start to go elsewhere. If the tax has not been implemented in Barcelona, Valencia, the boats will start going to these places for the larger works done. Yeah, to me, it make more sense if well, to everyone, I'm sure, if they just, did what they could to bring the work here and keep the work here, because it's took them so long to build up such a good reputation, and I feel like they're just going to push it away for sort of marginal gain in income.
Has there been any whispers about this tax being implemented anywhere else in Spain?
Not that I know of. Not that I know of. No.
So it's only been Majorca. Now, I mean, there is quite a bit, with yachting. It's not just the fact that the boats are coming into the yards for their refits or every other thing that they need, well, provisioning, etc. There is a knock-on effect within the actual island itself. It's not just the ports that sort of benefit from the yachting industry.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it's fair to say it's one of the best homegrown industries that they've got, and it's all year round. There's not many other industries on the island that offer the kind of employment all year round that they enjoy in yachting. For people that are from Mallorca, Spain, and elsewhere, or that are just resident on the island, and the people it brings in terms of the yachting community as well. Yes, it could have a massive knock-on effect in terms of the economy.
And I mean, the industry has grown exponentially since about 2013. It's grown huge. I mean, you even see with the Super Yacht Show and the Palma Yacht Show, Mallorca is now known as the #1 or premier sailing boat show in the world at this stage because of the amount of sailing yachts that come here at the Palma Yacht Show. Would that be, I mean, this has started since 2013. Do you think that's going to impact that if indeed this goes ahead?
Yeah. I think, as often as boats are even deterred from coming here, if they are, I can't say, but I just don't see any good coming from this tax. I can't see how nothing will be affected adversely by it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, as far as how people can help then, you're just asking for donations, what people can afford. I mean, I did see somewhere that you put a suggestion of what, for example, deckhand or stew or that kind of people can make all the way up to a business. Is there a place people can go to make a donation to help with this fight?
Yeah, we started a GoFundMe page. I'd like to promote it more, especially in the new year. I just wanted people to sort of put a face to the page and the cause at least. And then also in the new year, we're planning to have a sort of general meeting where people can come and ask questions and find out more and find out all these sort of people that's involved. From Alex Casares started that's took the initiative to get the lawyers involved to start with, got the group together to back it, down to sort of our level where we're just trying to promote it and bring in more money to help the costs from everyone that's involved. And so we have the GoFundMe page where pretty much anyone can go on and donate if they like. And we have the suggested contributions. They came originally from the email that Alex had sent out to the group to then pass on to us, to the suppliers that then pass the cost on to us. They'd said basically we've worked out that it'd be fair if autonomos, for example, give €100, the self-employed give about €100. Small businesses or businesses give €250 to €400 each. They've pretty much figured that that'll cover the costs. The amount of people that are involved in dealing with that should help cover the costs of the legal fees. Yeah, but I think like whatever people can give will be beneficial. You know, if whatever people can give, it'll be beneficial if you've benefited from it. You know, if you're able to go into work in January at no additional cost, I think it's more than fair to contribute to it. You know, yeah.
Well, as far as this page goes as well, are you going to be constantly updating it? So as things happen, as word comes in from lawyers, as the wrangling continues, because that's exactly what it's going to be. It's going to be a bunch of legal wrangling. Are you going to be updating this page to let the consumer know and to let those that possibly may be affected know what's going on at each stage?
Yeah. I have as much interest in it as anyone else, and whatever I find out, I'll be passing on to everyone to let them know, because it's important. It's important that we all know what's going on and how we're going to be affected for planning. And there's businesses that didn't know it was coming. Some of the bigger businesses that we work with, and they didn't know it was coming in. They weren't able to allow. They weren't allowed to able to plan for it and the costs, prices, everything. So I think it's just in all his interest if we can, if I can bring as much awareness to the situation as possible as I can do, and help contribute however I can to, and bring people together also to contribute to help.
Well, and as well, you have an email address if people are interested in just contacting you in regards to information, maybe questions that they have. You have an email address, they can get a hold of you as well.
Yeah, we do. It's actually mentioned on the page. It's no more Tasas, TASAS at hotmail.com. Yeah.
Well, we'll make sure to put every single one of the links with the GoFundMe page, with, of course, the Facebook page, as well as the email address when we air this interview, because I think it is important. And it's, as you say, I mean, it's small businesses that really sort of make an industry. And the industry will only continue as long as the small businesses continue.
Yeah. That's another point in itself. Without the small business, I think if it were to be concentrated as far down as just the big businesses, that'd have as a detrimental effect as what the tax would. I think So I think as all the small businesses go, we all need to get together, and get involved.
Well, I would like to welcome you back here again. As things change, I would love to be the portal in which that you reach out so that we can get the word as far and wide as possible, whether it be through the podcast or YouTube or any of the other platforms we have, because it is really important and it is what's happening now in the industry. And it is happening in Mallorca, which is known as the hub of the Mediterranean for yachting.
Yeah, great. I'd love to. Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, Sam, I thank you ever so much for your time. And we did try to do this a few days ago, but unfortunately, it didn't work out as planned. But there's always a bug somewhere in the system. I wish you the happiest of New Year's. And hopefully 2020, if nothing else, 2020 sees this tax gone, essentially.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. I think we'll keep on fighting.
Yes, well, that's what it's all about, is coming together and working as a team in order to achieve the goals in which you need achieved, for sure. So thank you again. Happy New Year, and stay tuned right here at Yachting International Radio for more information, and we will keep you updated about the tax, and we will also provide all the links if you want to participate, if you want to be continuously informed. We'll have it all right here at Yachting International Radio.